If you go down the memory lane and remember Huawei as a brand a couple of years ago, you will probably remember it as a brand that was struggling to keep up with the likes of other companies in the budget and mid-range segments. But now, Huawei is competing against top flagships. The P6, P7, P8, P9 were not considered flagships, but in the last 2 years, Huawei has closed the gap between its competitors Apple and Samsung and is taking great leaps forward. We already have a fair idea about the Huawei P20 Pro. I mean, who does not know about triple cameras? And I have used this device for almost 2 months now, and in this video, I will be sharing with you my experiences with the Huawei P20 Pro. Huawei had made headlines with the Leica branded triple cameras, and the fact that DxO has rated its camera with an outshining 109 score makes it even more appealing. One thing I noticed in all the pictures taken from this device is that the photos pack in abundant details. Now I am talking about a lot of details and sharp pictures. In the normal mode, the colors in pictures are great. You get vibrant pictures with no chance of shaky images, and shutter speed and the autofocus is unbelievably high. There is a 3x optical zoom or a 5x hybrid zoom. However, you cannot zoom in through the 40 megapixel sensor while taking photos, but that's okay because the results are decent with great details. You have an option to change the resolution from 40 to 10 or 7 megapixel, but I recommend you use the 10 megapixel option because I found it to have better dynamic range and color saturation compared to 40 megapixel photos. Another thing worth noticing is the Master AI. Now I know that it is with all good intentions that Huawei has included the AI option, but there is still room for improvement in this area. There are things that the AI does really well, for example, identifying scenery or sky or objects very accurately. But what it adds to the normal pictures is an added punch to it. It tends to make the pictures a little more saturated and sharp, especially the ones that are recognized as sky or greenery. But the good news is that you can always disable it and get back to natural settings, which I found myself doing most of the time. Adding to the camera settings is night mode. And the reason I am mentioning this separately is because the night mode does a commendable job preserving details in low light. The colors seem better and there is less noise in the pictures because it takes a long exposure shots that take 6 seconds to capture a picture. Well, after the 6-second wait, you get very clean low light shots. What you have to keep in mind is that the night mode can only be used to take pictures of still objects. There's also Pro mode that uses AI and automatically adjusts ISO, shutter speed, which is extremely convenient, at least for me. Like the back camera, the 24 megapixel selfie camera also produces a smooth skin tone, and I must say that the selfies are very sharp. Sometimes when the environment is very bright, you might get overexposed images. But all in all, I have liked the selfie camera because I have actually got quite good selfies from this one. We have done a detailed comparison of the Huawei P20 Pro, the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the OnePlus 6 in our comparison video, so make sure you check it out from somewhere here to know who won the battle. Now moving on to the video department, the videos are stabilized and are of superb quality with a good amount of details. However, 4K videos have lesser stabilization than 1080p videos. So it's better you use the 1080p option. Also, while taking videos from the beauty mode, the camera automatically decreases the quality to 720p, which, well, is not fair. Similarly, there are a lot of camera settings which may be confusing to some because you will have to tweak in and out of different settings, which may be a hassle, but all in all, the cameras are exceptional as hyped. When I first saw the P20 Pro, I instantly fell in love with the Twilight version, and undoubtedly this is something that has made the device stand out. For me, this is the most appealing color any smartphone has till now. On the front, you have the notch sitting on the top. But you also have an option to remove the notch, and I think the phone looks good that way because it makes the bezels look even. But it's totally your choice. I like the idea of a button/scanner at the bottom. It's the fingerprint sensor and a single button working as the home key and navigation button. I found it interesting because it works according to your gestures. For example, you need to hold for going back to home screen, tap to go back, and swipe to get to recently used apps. All this gives a different feel to the device and it's totally fun to use. The fingerprint sensor is very quick in response, but I found myself using the facial unlock because of its swiftness and accuracy. Something you will notice is that it does not have a headphone jack. However, you get headphones in the case and you are supposed to plug it in through the Type-C charging port, and I quite didn't mind doing so. On hands, yes, the P20 Pro is a huge phone, but it's amazing that it's very easy to carry. By looks, it may seem slippery, but I never had troubles with this one because it just fits right in your hands, meaning that it's easier to have a strong grip on the phone. I use this phone without any case or display protector, and surprisingly, the screen does not have a lot of scratches to it. However, I wish the same about the back. In 2 months' time, there were slight scratches and marks around the edges, but the glossy finish makes the scratches appear less. Display-wise, the 6.1-inch 1080p AMOLED display produces accurate colors and viewing angles are excellent. Although it's not 2K like the S9 Plus, but the display is crisp, vibrant and bright. It is the display we would expect on a flagship, and it has one that is really good. With a darker theme, the OLED screen provides good contrast and black levels. Similarly, you can adjust the color temperature as per your liking, but I found the natural tone to be better. The Huawei P20 Pro has a massive 4000 mAh battery, and complementing this battery size is Huawei's own supercharged feature. The device gave me 2 days of usage even on intensive use. Also, it's not powering a 2K display, so you get a longer battery life in this one when compared to the S9 Plus and the iPhone X. Huawei certainly has a lead on this one. The battery life is truly amazing, and other flagship manufacturers need to learn a lesson from this. What's holding the phone inside is the powerful Kirin 970 chipset coupled with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of internal memory. Sorry, no SD card slot here, but I think 128GB is more than enough. Now back to the processor, we know that the Kirin 970 is not something new because it had been used in the Mate 10 Pro last year. The performance of this chipset is good, no doubts, but Huawei could have opted for the Snapdragon 845, which is the latest and shows better benchmark results. In real-world usage, it shows flawless performance in terms of multitasking and gameplay. For example, I played one of the graphics-demanding game PUBG and it ran with minimum hiccups. Likewise, other high-end games too ran very smoothly. The back of the device rises in temperature, but not to the extent of worry or frustration. In the August update, Huawei is introducing the GPU Turbo feature in the Huawei P20 Pro, which, as Huawei claims, is going to boost the GPU performance. But having known that the GPU already performs really well, what does Huawei have in back for the users will be known then. Onto the software, I must say that Huawei's UI has gotten better with time, and it's actually very pleasing to use. There are different theme options and you will never get bored of what's there. I am a Samsung user, but the EMUI on top of P20 Pro has got me very impressed. Like most other flagships, Huawei has also tried to give many features to its users. There is battery optimization features, there is knuckle gesture features, there are a lot of display settings, you can enable or disable the notch, which are all good to know, and I don't mind having them on my device. During my time of use, there was one update I got, but I expected more for some reason. So, what do I think about the Huawei P20 Pro? Well, I think it is the perfect Huawei device. I mean, among the others that Huawei has produced till now, this one is the best offering. And if you will get the Huawei P20 Pro, it will certainly be for the cameras. Yes, the camera's interface and the AI need a little reworking, but it can be fixed in an update, so no worries. The performance is powerful and it has never let me down on my time of use. So, would I recommend this device? I would say yes. It is a perfect package for photography enthusiasts and for someone who's looking to buy a worthy flagship. So that is all for the Huawei P20 Pro review. Tell us what you think about the device in the comment section below. I am Pratima Adhikari and I'll see you soon.